Okay, dear students, you are all welcome to another lesson of the chapter Logic Gate. Remember, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so that for any new lesson or chapter that we might have, you will be immediately signaled to join us. Okay, today we are going to be working under combinational circuit. Okay, the knowledge we shall be using in order to properly understand combinational circuit are present in the previous lessons, that is the introduction to logic gate, universality of NAND and NOR gates, Boolean algebra, De Morgan's theorem, SOP and POS expression, Karnaugh map, and others. Without wasting so much time, let's begin. A combinational circuit is a type of digital electronic circuit whose output depends only on its current input without any memory of past inputs or internal states. As example of combinational circuit, we have binary adders, we have binary subtractors, and we have bit comparator. Okay, there are other types of combinational circuits. Now, let us take number one, binary adder. Under binary adder, The first, the first type that we are seeing is a half adder. It is an arithmetic circuit that can be used to add two bits. This circuit thus has two inputs that represent the two bits to be added and two outputs, the sum output and the carry. Consider A and B to be two bits to add, S and C to be the respective sum and carry. The truth table will be given below. So the half adder as described is an arithmetic circuit used in adding two bits, and these two bits represent the two input, and it also has two output. You remember for the past circuit we have been seeing, we only had a single output, but when it comes to combinational circuit, it is true there are some having only one output, but there are also some having more than a single output, and an example we have here is the half adder. Okay, this is the truth table we are having. And here we are adding two bits. Remember, when it comes to logic gate, we are working in binary. So once we get the sum, we divide by 2. The quotient gives the carry and the remainder gives the sum. Let's proceed. For the first one, we are adding the two bits. 0 plus 0 gives us 0. But now, what is 0 divided by 2? 0 divided by 2 gives me 0 remainder 0. Remember that this is the quotient and this is the remainder. And as we said here, the quotient gives the carry and the remainder gives the sum. So this is what I have. 0 remainder 0. We proceed. 0 plus 1 gives me 1. What is 1 divided by 2? 1 divided by 2 is 0 remainder 1, meaning that my sum is going to be 1 and my carry is 0. Okay, we proceed. 1 plus 0 gives us 1. When divided by 2 gives us 0 remainder 1, like the case above. So we have the same thing. 1 plus 1 equals to 2. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1 remainder 0, meaning that my sum is going to be 0 and my carry is going to be 1, as we can see. Now, using SOP, sum of product. Now, using SOP, can somebody guess what is going to be the expression of S and C in terms of the input A and B? You can put a pause on the video, you try and write somewhere. You come and continue the video to see whether you actually understood the concept of sum of product. And in case you did not understand, make sure you indicate in the comment section so that we can chat on WhatsApp for me to properly explain it to you. Okay, let's proceed. Using SOP, we have S to be equals to A bar B plus A B bar, because remember the SOP will identify the input 1 as we have here. At this level, A is 0 complemented, B is 1 not complemented. At this level, A is 1 not complemented, B is 0 complemented. But from the previous lesson, we realized that the expression we are having here, A bar B plus AB bar, is that of the XOR gate. So actually S is equal to A XOR B. Okay, we proceed. Using the same SOP, what is going to be the expression of C in terms of A and B? Remember that this is the only level where we have a 1. And at this level, we have A and B, both are 1, so they are not complemented. As a result, C is going to be AB. Good. Now that we have the expression of our output in terms of the input, it becomes very easy to design the combinational circuit. So the logic circuit for a half adder, this is what we are having. We have A and B as input. The XOR produces S as the output, the sum, whereas we use the AND gate from the expression, the AND gate to produce the carry. Good. For a combinational circuit, the half adder, this is the logic circuit we have, but also it can also be presented as a block diagram, and this is what we shall have. So the block diagram has the symbol HA for half adder, A and B both entry meaning they are the input, S and C leaving meaning they are the output. So this is the block diagram of a half adder. Okay, let's proceed. Supposed to be B here. Full adder. If two numbers in binary with several bits are to be added, the addition must start with the two least significant bits and then proceed to the most significant bit. Yeah, it's just like in primary school. Remember when you were adding more than when you were adding numbers having more than one digit, remember that we were placing them under unit, tens, hundred, and it's the same thing we are saying here, that when we are adding by numbers with many bits, we always start with the two least significant bits, that is the unit part, and then proceed to the most significant bit. At each stage, the carry from the previous addition has to be incorporated into the current addition. This is the function of the full adder. So the full adder here takes in up to three input, that is the two bits we are adding and the carry from the previous operation, which is a circuit that has three inputs, as I was just from saying, including the previous carry bit to produce two output, the sum and the carry out. Okay, just a little secret, the carry out we are having is actually the carry in of the next operation, but we shall understand it together. The following truth table better explains the work of a full adder, FA. That's our truth table. We have our input A, B, C, I. We have our output S, C0. Good. Now, remember, we are in binary. And since we have 3 bits, it means that the maximum number we can have, because remember, for a 3-digit, for a number having 3 digits in binary, the maximum is um is 3. Yes, the maximum that you can have is 3. When we shall enter under number system, you understand why I am saying so. But also, it will be very important for you guys to know how to convert from binary to decimal in order to better understand this particular case. Okay, but let me just be giving you a secret. When you are converting 3 bits like this corresponds to 1, this corresponds to 2, and sorry, this corresponds to 1, this corresponds to 2, and this corresponds to 4. Okay, actually it's not going to help us, but let's understand a fact. Now at the first level, 0, when you're adding all the 3, it gives you 0. What is 0 divided by 2? As you can see here, 0 divided by 2 gives me 0 remainder 0. This is my remainder. This is my quotient, as we explained here. Good. Now we are done with 0 because there is nowhere we are going to add to have a 0 again. We proceed now with the addition that will give us 1. Remember that if our sum is 1, 1 divided by 2 gives us 0 remainder 1, meaning that our sum is going to be 1 and our carry out 0. So everywhere I have my sum giving me 1, my sum will give me, sorry, everywhere the sum of A, B, and Ci gives me 1, it implies my sum is going to be 1 and my carry out is going to be 0, like in this case and this case, yes, and this other case. So these are the 3 cases where the sum of A, B, and Ci gives us 1. Good. When we come here again, we see that if our sum is 2, 2 divided by 2 gives us 1 remainder 0. So if the sum gives 2, it implies my sum is 0 and my carry is 1. I have this level, and this particular level. Okay. And finally, if our sum is 3, like in this case, 3 divided by 2 gives us 1 remainder 1, meaning that my sum is 1 and my carry out is 1. So that is what we have, and that is how you easily come out with the truth table of a full adder. As easy as that. Simply take the sum of A, B, and Ci. Once you have that sum, divide it by 2. Your quotient goes to the carry out and your remainder goes to the sum. Okay. Once again, let us use the sum of product expression. What are we going to have? Using SOP, first of all, circles everywhere that we have 1 under S. At this level, what are we going to have? Correct. A bar, B bar, Ci. What of here? Good. A bar, B, Ci bar. At this level, perfect. A, B bar, Ci bar. And lastly, correct. A, B, Ci. So using SOP, I am going to have S to be equals to the sum of the different expression I obtained here. Good. Always, as I told you, when you have such an expression, when you want to simplify, always identify efficient factorizable expressions. I can factorize these two. What will I factorize here? Ci. I can also factorize Ci bar from these two. What is it going to give me? So when I factorize Ci from this term and this term, I have A bar B bar plus AB. And once I factorize Ci bar from this term and this term, I get A bar B and A B bar. Good. Remember, from the breakdown of the XOR and the XNOR gate we did in the previous lesson, we realized that A XOR B is equal to A B bar plus A bar B, whereas A XNOR B is equal to A bar B bar plus AB. So realize that this expression, this is here. So this is indirectly A XNOR B, whereas this is A XOR B. That is what we have. Good. But now let us look let us just beg something from mathematics. That is, if I let X to be equals to B XOR Ci. Okay, I'm just letting for you guys to see how easy the expression was for me to. I'm just breaking it down byte by byte. Yes, I'm breaking it down byte by byte for you to understand better. Good. So if X is equals to B XOR Ci, what will I get? I am going to have S to be equals to A. If this is X, then this is X bar. So AX bar plus A bar X, as you can see. So if this is X, then S is going to be AX bar plus A bar X. Now this expression is similar to what? Correct. A XOR X, as you can see. From there now, I substitute back the value of X, which was B XOR Ci. So this implies that S is equals to A XOR B XOR Ci. That is the expression of the sum coming out from a full adder. I hope you are understanding, you are all together. In case of a problem, make sure you leave a question in the comment section. We proceed for the expression of C out. We have this. What are we having here? A bar B Ci. At this level, A B bar Ci. At this level, A B Ci bar. And finally, at this level, A B Ci. So that is the expression of CO, that is the carry out. What can I factor out? At this level, I can factor out AB, and at this level, I can factor out CI. What does it give me? This is the expression I obtained. Good. Now, using what we did from last lesson again, you realize that this is A XOR B, as you can see. Good. And now from Boolean algebra, my byte members, what does it give me? Ci plus Ci bar, what does it give? Correct. If you said 1, then you are right. Good. So CO is going to be AB into 1 plus CI into A XOR B. Good. And we know that from the identity law, any input times 1 gives me the input. And that is how C out is equals to AB plus A XOR B ordered CI. So for a full adder, that is the expression for S and C out that we have. Okay, let's proceed. From the SOP expression of S and CO, which are, that is the expression for S we had, and that is the expression for CO that we had. Good. The logic circuit, that is the logic circuit A, because for a full adder, there are two different circuits we can have. That is what we have. Let us understand the circuit very well. S is equal to A XOR B XOR Ci. This is A, this is B, entry into a XOR gate. So at this level, I have A XOR B. And now this is Ci coming to enter. So what is entering here is A XOR B and C. That is why S is A XOR B XOR Ci. Good. Now for CO, the first thing I have is AB. That is why we have an AND gate here. AB. Good. And we have A XOR B. This A XOR B we had here, I have my junction entering here. So what is entering here is A XOR B and Ci, because this junction, take note, this junction is entering here and continues here. So what enters this AND gate is A XOR B and Ci. That is why for this expression A XOR B dot Ci. So I already have my AB, I have my A XOR B dot Ci. What is left? The addition. That is why an AND gate is being used, where I have this and this particular one, as you can see. So this is logic circuit A of a full adder. Now, remember the logic circuit of a half adder. As you can see, a half adder takes in two input A and B, and with what are the gates it uses? A XOR and an AND gate. XOR and XOR and. So we realize that this can be considered as half adders because I have a XOR and an AND gate, each taking the same input. This is taking A and B, this two is taking A and B. This one is taking this output and it is taking C. This same one is taking this output and it is also taking C. So we can consider these two blocks as half adders, and that is why the logic circuit B of a full adder is represented as you can see. This first half adder taking A and B as input. This is what we have. This second half adder taking the sum of the first half adder and C is what we have. So this second half adder takes this sum and it also takes Ci, and our output S is what we have. This OR gate takes what? The carry of this half adder and the other carry of the other. So I have this and this. So this is how you can have the logic circuit of a full adder in terms of a half adder. Good. What about the block diagram? The block diagram of a full adder is represented as you can see. At this level, you have three inputs A, B, and Ci because those are the three entering into the full adder. Another student could just put FA. You are correct. And we have our two output S and CO. Please pay attention. Do not go and confuse CI and CO because CO is considered as the output, C out, whereas C in is considered as the input. And the direction of the arrows matters a lot. The arrows entering into the block are the input, and the arrows leaving the block are considered as the output. Good. Parallel adder circuit. A parallel adder is a digital circuit that produces the arithmetic sum of two binary numbers. A parallel adder can be constructed in two ways. Take note of this. Paper 1, paper 2 also. Using a half adder for the addition of the least significant bit and a full adder for the other bits, meaning that if, for example, I am adding two binary numbers, each having 5 bits, for the least significant bit, I must use a half adder. Then for the rest of the 4 bits, I use full adders for each of them. That is why in paper 1, they might ask you, in the addition of two binary numbers, each of n bits, how many full adders and half adders can be used? You can either say, when you're adding binary numbers of n bits, If you are to use half adders and full adders, then you are using only one half adder and n minus one full adders. Meaning if the two binary numbers have, for example, let me say 8 bits, you will use one half adder and 7 full adders. The second way, using a full adder for all the bits and setting the carry in on the full adder of the least significant bit to 0. Very, very, very correct. Why are we saying that? If I am adding two numbers, if I'm adding A and B using um, half adders, it is the same thing as adding A and B using full adders and setting this one to 0, because remember, in addition, the 0 plus anything does not change the result. That is why these are the two ways in which you can be adding two binary numbers. Either you use one half adder for the least significant bit and full adders for the rest, or you use full adders for all the bits and you set the carry in on the full adder of the least significant bit to 0. These are the two ways. Pay attention. Okay, let's look at GC June 2023 question 1. We want to build a circuit that can be used to add two 4-bit numbers. We have full adders and half adders to use as components. So in this case, the precise that we are using full adders and half adders. Therefore, automatically this is what we are to use. And now since there are 4 bits, how many half adders am I going to use? How many full adders am I to use? Correct. If you said one half adder and 3 full adders, then you are right. A. Explain the difference between half adder and full adder. B. Draw a block diagram of your circuit which shows how the numbers 1011 plus 1110 are being added. Show and label all inputs and outputs. Use at least one half adder and at least one full adder. Good. In this question B, we could use any of the two cases above, but since the precise at least one half adder, they are already implying that it is the first alternative we are to use. Okay, first of all, differences between a half adder and a full adder. There are a lot of differences you can give. Like for example, a half adder adds 2 bits, whereas a full adder adds 2 bits with an incorporated carry in. Another difference is that a full adder can perform the function of a half adder, whereas a half adder cannot perform the function of a full adder. Another one is um, a full adder can be designed using half adders, which is not the case for a half adder. Another one is at the level of the output. A half adder takes in 2 inputs, whereas a full adder takes in 3 inputs. Another one is a half adder. The output of a half adder are the sum and the carry, whereas the output of a full adder are the sum and the carry out. You can even give the logic expression as differences. It goes. Now, the B part. The B part says we should use block diagram to show how they are being added, and this is how they are added. Let me explain. The first bit is 1011. Understand how it goes. 1011, because each block takes bits from the two numbers. So 1011, 1011, then 1110. I hope you are seeing. Don't be confused. So this is for the first digit correspond with the first binary number 1011, as you can see here. Then 1110 for this second binary number. Good. We are using the first case. So we are seeing that I use a half adder for the addition of the least significant bit, because when we talk of least significant bit, we are talking about this. These are the least significant bits of the numbers. These ones. Okay. I use a half adder for that. This is my sum that it gave me, because 1 plus 0 is 1. What is 1 divided by 2? 0 remainder 1. This is my remainder. This is my quotient. Now, the carry I have here is what enters into the full adder, as you can see here. So this carry in is the carry out of this half adder. At this level now, I am adding 1, 1, and 0. When you add these three, what does it give you? 2. What is 2 divided by 2? 1 remainder 0. This is my sum. The carry out enters as the carry in of the next half adder. So you see that this is the secret I told you. When you are using in a parallel adder, the carry out of one expression goes as the carry in of the next full adder. Inside this one now, I am adding 0, 1 and 1. The sum gives 2. When you divide by 2, you have 1 remainder 0. So this is my sum. This is my carry. The last full adder now, I am adding 1 plus 1 plus 1, which gives me 3. What is 3 divided by 2? 1 remainder 1. So this is the carry. Since there is no more full adder, it simply comes as the last carry. That is why 1 0 1 1 base 2 plus 1 1 0 plus 1 1 1 0 base 2 gives me 1 1 0 0 1 base 2. That is how we use a parallel adder. So guys, look at a question that came for 7 marks. As a member of the byte family, that is how you will be getting acquainted to such question and how to easily interpret and solve such question. Okay guys, we are coming to the end of the video. Remember to like, subscribe and share to your classmates. The byte family has to be increasing exponentially, dear students. I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next class on for the same lesson, combinational circuit, but this time around for a different type of combinational circuit. Okay, see you guys for the next video.